TEMDM software is designed in a minimalistic style. Let's open, for instance, Spectrum Imager. There are only a few buttons arranged in the logical order of data processing, and just a handful of widgets to display the results. There is very little choice in the processing flow. Everything works automatically, and the default settings are optimized for the most common typical cases. However, if you wish to have more control, you can visit the menu and adapt the software to your specific task and your specific device. Today we will consider the general settings, common to all TEMDM packages. Go to Settings, choose Frames, and select the main frame. The most important parameter here is the initial size in pixels. Of course, you can always resize the frame manually by dragging it with the mouse, but if you have a large monitor, you may prefer the window to appear larger from the start. In that case, simply increase the value here. Confirm. Nothing appears to change immediately, but after you close and reopen the program, it fits your screen much better. There are additional settings related to the frame size, for instance, the initial position, defined by the X and Y coordinates of the top left corner relative to the screen. That is quite straightforward. Besides the main frame, there are many others. Let's open a dataset in the meantime. And pick a spectrum. We can visit any region of a dataset. We can rescale a spectrum as we want. The spectrum viewer appears with a predefined size, but we can modify it. Go to Frames, Spectrum Viewer. Here you can define the initial width and the height-to-width ratio. Again, while you can always resize the window manually, it is worth defining a comfortable default size once and for all. What is delta? We assume that additional frames should not overlap with the main frame but instead appear at a certain offset. This is delta. Let's increase it. Now the frame appears further to the side. You can also choose where the frame appears, either to the right of the main window or below it. Type bottom. Probably we resize the main frame for convenience. One can change it by dragging with a mouse. Now the frame appears beneath the main window. The same settings are available for other windows, such as line plot, scatter plot, and so on. You can also control the position of the settings window itself. Its size is fixed, but its location can be adjusted. Now let's look at the display settings. Open Spectrum Viewer, and here you can change the colors of the plot and the background. One more parameter, Selection Initial Size. It is currently set to about 1/3. This defines the initial selection size as a fraction of the full range. Let's change it to 1/2. Now the initial selection is larger. Similar display settings exist for other views, such as line plot, scree plot, and others. That's all about appearance, but still important. Now, the palette. That's about which colors you prefer. If we create multiple spectrum viewers, each is assigned a different color. Otherwise, you are simply lost in them. Here you define the sequence of colors using standard hexadecimal color codes. You can see pink, then green, then blue, and so on. Starting from the 9th instance, the colors repeat. Let's clean everything up. These settings apply not only to spectrum viewers, but also to other elements, such as clusters or spectral components. And finally, if you experiment with the settings and end up with something unexpected, you can always restore the defaults in a single click. Simply select Reset Default, and everything returns to the original configuration. All right. This was an overview of frame and display settings, common to all TEMDM programs. There are also package-specific settings, which we will explore in future videos. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned.